Jordan shoves Paul Ryan aside, proves why he is the most viable choice for Speaker by US4Trump.com. Representative Jim Jordan joined Fox and Friends Friday morning to discuss his future plans for running for Speaker of the House. Jordan, who is fully behind President Trump's agenda, is on board to see that Trump's promises are being kept to the American people. Jordan, a member of the House Freedom Caucus, announced Thursday he plans to mount an anti-establishment run for Speaker of the House, presuming Republicans keep control of the chamber. Should the American people entrust us with the majority again in the 116th Congress, I plan to run for Speaker of the House to bring real change to the House of Representatives, Jordan said in a statement. Jordan added President Trump has taken bold action on behalf of the American people. Congress has not held up its end of the deal, but we can change that. It's time to do what we said. You wonder maybe Congress is compromised? Let's quickly take a look and we'll get to the him speaking on Fox. Jim Jordan announcing bid for House Speaker.
Anyone's definition, that's an amazing year and a half. But think about Congress. What has Congress done? We've certainly helped with the taxes, but all those other things that we told the American people we would accomplish, we haven't. Repeal Obamacare, reform welfare, build the border security wall, and fix our immigration system and control spending. We haven't done that. So I think this is real simple. I always say this. We make the job of being a member of Congress way too difficult. It's really basic. What did you tell the voters you were going to do? Let's do that. And we haven't done enough of that. We need to do more of that and help President Trump make America great again and do the things that we said.
Absolutely. Jim Jordan spot on and stands with President Trump and the American people. Let's take a listen.
Shine on. You just announced you sent a letter saying that you want to run for Speaker of the House.
Yes.
How did you come to this decision?
Well, think about it this way. In the last year and a half under President Trump, regulations are down, taxes are down, the economy's up, we're going to get great numbers today. Unemployment's at its lowest in 20 years. Gorsuch is on the court. Kavanaugh is on deck. We're out of the crazy Iran deal. The embassy's in Jerusalem and the hostages have come back from North Korea. An amazing year and a half.
The remains are coming back today.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm forgetting some other good things. So that's by anyone's definition, that's an amazing year and a half. But think about Congress. What has Congress done? We've certainly helped with the taxes, but all those other things that we told the American people we would accomplish, we haven't. Repeal Obamacare, reform welfare, build the border security wall, and fix our immigration system and control spending. We haven't done that. So I think this is real simple. I always say this. We make the job of being a member of Congress way too difficult. It's really basic. What did you tell the voters you were going to do? Let's do that. And we haven't done enough of that. We need to do more of that and help President Trump make America great again and do the things that we said.
Well, let's talk about some things in the news this past week. 11 members of the House Freedom Caucus signed articles of impeachment. Went into the House yesterday. They pretty much decided, you know what, we're not going to go forward with that. I understand, apparently behind the scenes, the Department of Justice, when they got that squeeze, suddenly said, you know what, we are going to produce more documents, which is what you wanted to do in the first place.
Exactly.
But why did you all take that tack?
All we've done is file it, so it's still there. It's sent to the Judiciary Committee. It can be brought up at any time. The only way we've gotten documents and information that we're entitled to get, so the American people can get answers, is when we put the pressure on them. It's always stonewall. It's always worked. Of course it worked. I mean, we've caught we sent letters back in November for information they didn't comply with. 2 subpoenas they haven't complied with. We've caught the Justice Department trying to hide information from us, namely when they redacted the portion of the text message where it showed Peter Strzok was friends with one of the FISA court judges, who happened to be the same federal judge who heard Mike Flynn's case. And we know Rod Rosenstein, Fox News reported this, Catherine Herridge and Greg Jarrett. We know Rod Rosenstein threatened staff members on the House Intelligence Committee when they were trying to do their job to get answers. So that's the history. We have to continue to push or we're not going to get the information.
Why does the Intelligence Committee, the investigative committee on the Senate side, say that we didn't need to impeach Rod Rosenstein? It didn't have the same push that you did to get all these documents. Why is that? Have you talked to the Senate?
You'd have to ask them. All I know is 2 days ago we had a meeting with the Department of Justice folks. Dana Bonte, FBI counsel, said at the start of the meeting, because the first question from Mr. Goodlatte was, why wouldn't Peter Strzok answer some of our questions in that hearing? And Mr. Bonte said, well, he should have answered about 90% of the questions Congressman Jordan had in that hearing. And I'm like, Great, we know that now. It'd have been nice to get the answers in the hearing when we were asking those questions.
So the FBI told him not to answer that?
Yes.
It was a lie that Peter struck?
They told him not to answer at that time, and now they're saying, you know what, he should have answered some of those questions, 90% of the ones that I asked him. So that's a problem. That's been the pattern, and there's a point where the frustration gets so high, not just for us, more importantly for the American people, that you have to use every means that you have at your disposal to get the information, including contempt, including impeachment if we need to.
You knew when you sent this letter there was going to be criticism from the left. Nancy Pelosi's come out saying you're trying to impeach because, Rod Rosenstein, because there's some controversy that you've been involved in, she says you're doing this to divert attention from the entanglements in the sexual abuse investigation swirling around Ohio State University's wrestling program. Explain what happened when you were the assistant coach there.
Yeah, look, I've talked to all kinds of my colleagues. They can all see through this story. This is something that supposedly happened 30 years ago. If there in fact was abuse, then we want people to get justice and the truth to come out. But there were hundreds of coaches, hundreds of administrators in that time period. No one ever reported any. Certainly no one reported it to me. If they had, there was no reason for you not to deal with it if you knew about it. You're student athletes. You want the best for them. You want them ready to compete and be able to win. So if there was some problem, I would have definitely reported.
There's a doctor on the team, a doctor that was supervising all of the wrestlers.
14 different Division I.
Congressman,
And he killed himself.
Why did your name come up now?
Well, I mean, come on. It's like you're one of the assistant coaches, and you're probably, I guess, the most high-profile individual today. So it draws attention to what they're trying to do. The guy who's making the most noise is a guy who's got a criminal background. The other guy's been in prison for 18 months.
Why are they trying? You're saying they're trying to hurt you?
Well, I mean, look, you have to ask them. What I know is every single assistant coach has said the same thing I have. All kinds of wrestlers have come forward and said the same thing I have. And the reason they've done that, the reason they've said that, is because it's the truth. Right. And all my colleagues see through this story, so we're focused on doing what we told the American people we're going to do and making Congress work so we can continue to help the president accomplish good things.
We don't know a lot what Robert Mueller's doing, and they don't get that many leaks out, but one came out yesterday that the Mueller group is looking into the president's tweets and how it might coincide with some of the president's interviews with Comey and company, and how it might maybe look like collusion or coercion.
Well, they're looking into everything, but one thing they're not finding is any type of coordination, any type of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, which is...
Does it show they're getting closer, or does it show they're desperate?
Who knows? Who knows? What we know is this whole thing started with a dossier that was not credible, that we found out in the Strzok hearing just a couple weeks ago. This is the first time that the FBI admitted this, that they were getting parts of the dossier from Bruce Orr, top official at the Justice Department, who, oh, by the way, his wife worked for Fusion, who was being paid by the Clinton campaign. Now, you cannot, that is what is so bad about this. The fact that a top-ranking justice official whose wife is working for the Democrat-paid opposition research firm is giving information to the FBI, and that becomes the basis that you take to the FISA court to start this whole affair. And when you go to the court, you don't tell the court who paid for it, and you don't tell the court that the guy who wrote the darn thing, Christopher Steele, without leaking information to the press. That is as wrong as it gets, and yet now we're looking at tweets the president did, and somehow that's a problem. This is crazy.
Right. I got to ask you something about being speaker. We know you're the Freedom Caucus very conservative, but if you're going to be a successful speaker, you have to get people in your own party, maybe even, dare I say, the other party, who don't necessarily have the same doctrine and belief as you. They might be the so-called moderate to the Tuesday group. How do you do that?
I think you look at process. I mean, right now, there's just a handful of people at the top who make all the decisions. And that's not fair to the 435 members of the Congress, not fair to the 240 members of the Republican Conference. We all represent 750,000 people. And when you got a couple people at the top making all the decisions, and they're basically telling other members, just wait your turn, maybe someday we'll let you keep voting with us, keep raising money for us, and maybe someday we'll let you be subcommittee chair of some committee. That is not how the place is supposed to work. There are members from all across this country, this diverse, great nation of ours, who want to weigh in and represent the families and the people back home that they get the privilege of serving. Let's let them get in. For example, 9 committee chairmanships open up next year. 9 committee chair. I don't think a few people at the top should decide who chairs those committees. Why not let the people in the committee who have the expertise, the talent, and the experience to say, this is the person who is best enabled, best capable of leading this committee to get accomplished the policies that we all campaigned on, that we all told the American people we would do.
Are you still getting shadow banned, by the way?
We were there a couple of days ago. I think they fixed it. But it's interesting. Matt Gaetz, Mark Meadows, Devin Nunes, Jim Jordan. How does the algorithm, Steve, how does the algorithm just... Did they put those 4 names in the algorithm? I mean, this is crazy. but it's happening, and that Mr. Gates is fired up about it, and so are the rest of us.
So we're losing faith in the network television, and we're losing faith in social media.
Yeah, but not
at
Fox
the same
News.
time. I don't think so.
But not Fox
All right,
News.
he would like to be the next Speaker of the House. He's Jim Jordan from the great state of Ohio. Sir, thank you very much.
Wish you all the best.
Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
Well, as you can all see, it's a setup, even with Twitter and everything else. And the swamp wants to dictate who gets into the positions. I mean, really? Jordan would be an amazing pick. And shove this traitor Paul Ryan to the side is right. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.